Hello, and thank you for tuning in and joining us today. My name is Candace Tyler, and I am the Community Relations Coordinator here at BizIQ. And today I am joined by Dorothy Walden, who is our Director of Agency Marketing.
Hello, everyone.
Dorothy is going to dive into the COVID effect and how that is influencing digital marketing trends that we are seeing today. So take it away, Dorothy.
Okay, thanks so much. Sorry for the little mishap there with our slides. I forwarded too quickly. All right, so I think we can all agree that times have changed and there's a lot of uncertainty in the world for a variety of reasons, really not just COVID. One thing we know for sure is that online marketing is exploding, right? Leaving a lot of business owners wondering if they're ready for online marketing and what's coming. So we did some homework and, although the pandemic has led to a great deal of uncertainty, consumers are still shopping and online advertising is still a driver in their purchase decisions. More than 1/3 or 36% of U.S. consumers reported that they had made an impulse buy based on a digital ad that they'd seen at the start of the pandemic. Digital ads, of course, are not the only driver. People are still looking for a good deal, right? Which 76% reported that they discovered a new product or service based on a deal that they received from that brand. And we also know that with budgets being tight for a lot of Americans, brands who provide discounts and special offers are winning over those who don't. So one last important piece of data I want to share is that half of U.S. consumers say that they spend more time consuming content online than ever before. And 47% of them saying that they're interested in content that is not COVID or related to the election. So I think that definitely gives small businesses an opportunity to kind of key in on their content marketing strategy and gives them a little bit of a leg up because that's what people are looking for. So one more trend that isn't necessarily started during COVID, but it's an important trend to still note, and that's that wave of digital first. And some of you may have heard of the term digital first or digital forward, and they mean basically the same thing, which is to develop your marketing and content strategy with a digital mindset first. So traditionally, business would develop a marketing plan and have different tactics such as print ads or postcards. And then they would try to kind of crowbar those tactics into their marketing strategy or not even considering digital at all. What we know is that having the digital first mindset means that you start and you focus on your digital campaigns, and then, and only if it's appropriate, do you develop kind of that offline marketing strategy to align. Some of you might be thinking, hey, that's a bit crazy. That mindset is not suitable for my business. Well, we're here to say that the world is changing in the blink of an eye, and everyone everywhere will be more digital, including your competitors. So don't sit back and wait. The degree of which you embrace that digital first mindset now is going to determine your future success.
Yes, all good points. But what does this mean for small businesses? Small businesses have been hit hard by the pandemic, with 8 out of 10 small business owners saying that this has negatively affected their business. That being said, small business owners are staying agile during this downturn. Many say that they have used this time to skill up some areas that may have needed some touch-ups, such as SEO, social media, and data analytics, which is the perfect way to be spending your time. With all of us being stuck inside, we're all kind of succumbed to, social media and the internet. There has been a clear shift towards digital advertising during this COVID-19 pandemic. The majority of businesses are planning to use a digital strategy in the second half of 2020. 75% say that they will try paid social or display ads, while 7 in 10 business owners are using paid search, while almost 2/3 or 64% intend to invest in digital video. These are all great ways to drive traffic and leads, but before you invest in these, there are some things that you need to have in place. So no matter what the world throws at you, your digital marketing efforts are successful. But before we dive in too much further, let's have our first poll. So what types of digital marketing have you tried? We have paid social ads, paid search ads, video marketing, none of the above, or all of the above. Where do you guys stand?
Okay. All right, so we haven't quite dabbled into some of these landscapes yet, but that's really good for us to know because we want to make sure that we understand the audience and can give you the right message to help you move forward. Awesome. So here I'll just share the results real quick. Okay, so all right, let's go back. Here we are. All right. So I am going to jump into what BizIQ is kind of deemed or sort of put our stake in the ground around, which is the 5 pillars of successful digital marketing. And we are always constantly working to keep small businesses ahead of the curve when it comes to their online presence. And as more small businesses seek to reach their customers online, we know how important it has become, or in fact, it's already important to distinguish yourself. It's why we've developed these 5 pillars for successful local online marketing. You can call it a secret sauce or a magic formula or a strategic plan, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter to us, but your efforts need to include each one of these important pillars for your marketing to be successful and to get your business set up for what's coming next. All right, so we will jump right into pillar number 1, which is an optimized local website. Now, just like your brick and mortar store is where people will always know where to find you, your website is your de facto destination for your customers online. And if your business is solely online, then optimization is even more critical. It's not enough to just have a website either. It does need to be optimized. Here's what it would take for you to kind of get some traffic, some traction with your website. First, your website must be device responsive to enhance the user experience for people using smartphones and tablets, of which account for 60% of all online searches today. So if your website is not mobile responsive or tablet responsive, you are really missing out. And Google will also had changed their algorithms a few years ago to actually favor sites that are mobile friendly. So next, your site needs to have Google-friendly coding. So this helps the bots crawl and index your site quicker and easier, resulting in more favorable ranking from Google and other indexers. But really, we're trying to please Google here. Additionally, your site needs to have very fast page speeds. So you only have about 5 seconds before someone clicks on that dreaded back button. So cutting load times will reduce bounce rates and deliver content to visitors faster and to keep them on the page longer. And your site must also have calls to action, which give your visitors a reason to interact with your website and help improve customer experience. So it could be a way for them to call, to chat with you with a bot, email, or any other kind of call to action. And this will help kind of guide them to what you want them to do using CTAs. So if they come to your site and they go to the contact us page, you need to make sure that you've got enough information there for them to actually contact you. Or if you want to drive them to do a specific thing like download an ebook, fill out a form, or subscribe to your blog, then you need to have those buttons and those calls to action to get them to do that. And then lastly, an optimized local website needs to be keyword optimized for search engines so that you get the best ranking possible. All right. So with all of that said, we are going to give one more quick little poll, again, just to try to see where everyone is. So based on what we shared just now, how many of you on the call today feel like your websites are optimized? Okay, we've got a yes. We've got a few yeses, a couple of no's.
Nice.
Okay. I'm going to close this out. We'll come back here. Okay.
Alrighty. So our next pillar is, there we go, directory listings. Now, not too many people have a copy of the Yellow Pages just sitting around anymore. But how are your customers going to find you? Google is the best place. But to rank, you need to get your name out there. So start with reputable directories that are relevant to your industry. So this would be Google, Yelp, City Search, Bing, and Apple Maps. Or if you are in the home services industry, this might look like Angie's List or Home Advisor. Google checks for trust, and the more reputable directories that you're listed in, the more the search engine will trust your URL and your brand. Directories direct customers to you, so getting listed in these relevant directories increases your exposure and puts your name in front of searchers with intent. So, increasing your directory listings helps build trust by piggybacking on these links these websites have that have a higher domain authority or relevance than your site. This is called link building, and it's crucial because there are two fundamental ways that search engines use links. One is to discover new web pages, and then number two is to help determine how well a page should rank in their results. So you can build trust and credibility through listings that put your business alongside brands that people know and are familiar with. So let's get a feel for how you guys are managing your directory listings with another poll. So when was the last time you reviewed them? We have 1 to 2 months ago, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, or maybe you don't remember. What are results looking like, Dorothy?
Well, it's looking like we've got a few that have updated them within the last 3 to 5 months, and then a few that don't even remember when they were last updated. So
Well,
here I'm going to
okay.
share. Here we go. So, and it's important to understand, and it's not like we're trying to point out that people are doing anything necessarily wrong, but we want to make sure is that these things are brought top of mind. These 5 pillars are really important, and they might be things that you've heard of before, and we just found them to be the fundamental pieces to driving a successful online strategy. Okay, so pillar number 3, we're going to dive into content creation or curation. So content is the key to staying relevant, both to your customers and, again, into the eyes of Google. You need to put out blog posts, videos, social posts, and more on a consistent schedule to make sure your voice is out there and that your business is in front of people. Fresh content is what Google wants. And if we make Google happy, then the rest will be happy. So with fresh content, Google is more likely to crawl and favor your site if you produce content consistently. Moreover, consistent content drives new traffic from other sources. So monthly blogs on your website are the best way to optimize for keywords and improve return visitors, expand your crawlability, and of course, build your reputation. An easy way to produce content is to answer questions from your customers, either in a blog or in an FAQ page. This is a great way to appeal to search intent for very relevant common search phrases. Content makes you the expert in your area, which you can improve your domain authority and basically your overall rankings. So we understand that, content has its appeal. 47% of consumers view 3 to 5 pieces of content prior to making a purchase decision. Now, that is a statistic that never used to exist. People didn't used to behave that way, but they are behaving that way now. And this is why content is so critical. And consumers are so hungry for education and entertainment online. It's just become more and more important. And we know that content can be really time consuming to create new content on a regular basis. And that's really where content curation comes in. So, content curation shouldn't be confused with content aggregation. And so let me kind of make the distinction between the two. Content aggregation is the idea of sharing content that it's not original to you. It could be pictures or videos or blog posts and more that you did not produce. So you might retweet someone or share a YouTube video on your Facebook timeline that sends a message that you agree with. Now, content curation is a bit different. You're still sharing content that from other resources, but you're doing it in a very purposeful way. So curated messaging is carefully selected because it actually contributes to your brand in a meaningful way beyond just restating an idea that you agree with. And it takes into consideration not only the media and the message, but the company that produced it and the message surrounding it. So you'll want to curate content from reputable sources that are either in your industry or in and around some of the things that you do as a business. I know that might still be confusing, and it does take time to learn the nuances. Just think of content curation as a more mindful approach to growing your brand. You're still not you're not sharing messages, you're building brand credibility. I would recommend some places to consider when you're curating content. Could be from like a local chamber of commerce that you belong to, industry associations that are relevant to what you do, and or other community-based organizations, with the key being as long as what you share is relevant to what your company does and your brand promise.
And those are awesome, some great points there. We're going to dive into our next pillar, number 4, which is reputation management. Now, what people say about your business matters. Just like word of mouth business can be a loyal following, bad press can repel customers. So make sure you're paying close attention to your online reputation. This also includes reviews, mentions, feedbacks, and more. Online reviews are the new word of mouth, which means getting reviews from your customers and your supporters are paramount for attracting new customers. Actively responding to reviews is critical in showing that you're paying attention. You need to respond to all reviews, good, bad, and ugly, but make sure you're doing that in a professional and courteous way. To generate new reviews by giving people a reason to leave feedback, so you can incentivize reviews or just ask for them when the moment strikes. Daily reputation alerts are key in keeping up with what people are saying about your business. And it's a great way to get a quick pulse on what you're doing well and what you can improve on. Now, one last poll before we move on, how many of you feel confident in responding to negative reviews? I can tell you how I would be voting on this one. So what have our results looking like, Dorothy?
Okay, well, we've got, a few people have said yes, they feel really confident about responding to negative reviews. We do have some that aren't feeling as confident.
Okay, well, spoiler alert, one of our freebies and giveaways is a top 25 review responses to make it in any situation. Now, we'll have more details at the end, but just know that is coming straight to you guys.
Okay. All right. So pillar number 5 is reporting and updates. One of the most awesome aspects of digital marketing, in my opinion, is the ability to track results with data. I am a data geek, and this is that kind of operational side of what I do. Now, I'm probably not like most people. I really enjoy understanding like how our campaigns are working and where we can be making a difference. So, back in the day, we created postcards, we did a lot of ads, print stuff, and then we just prayed that the person who answered the phone remembered to ask, hey, how did you hear of us? The great thing is with digital marketing, we can analyze the data and we can know exactly where people are coming from. And that is why it's so critical, and we've made it our fifth pillar. There's definitely no set it and forget it when it comes to your online presence. Every new day brings new developments, and the internet is just forever changing. So what we want to make sure we're doing is we're staying on top of what our marketing efforts are producing and tracking and measuring the success of them, or at least tracking them in a way that gives us insights. So like you're tracking your website traffic, for instance, you can look at daily, weekly, monthly visitor metrics, including traffic levels, referring sources, time on page, just to name a few. You can track your keyword rankings to see what keywords are dominating, where you're falling behind, and what opportunities might exist for your business to gain some movements up the page. And then track your rankings, right? And you can gauge the pace of your SEO efforts. Where have you moved up? Where have you moved down? Why did that happen? If you're not paying attention to the data, then you really don't know what your next move is going to be. So you have to adjust to keep growing. And in particular with SEO, it's not a one and done practice. You need to maintain that consistent effort to preserve your rankings and also to gain traction with some new keywords. All right. You also want to stay up to date with all of Google's changes. So anytime there's a new algorithm update or a tweak to search engine results page, understand how it works and how it affects your efforts, because it could be pretty drastic. You want to consider updating to a voice search to target searches made with Siri, Google Assistant, or Alexa. The stats show now about 48% of people are experimenting with voice search, and that number is continuing to grow. You probably do that some yourself, maybe. Okay, and then lastly, you want to make sure that analyzing the data from all of your marketing channels. So I talked about your website and the traffic from that, but you will want to include any organic and paid social that you're doing on all your social media efforts. If you're doing any pay per click, you'll want to measure your conversion rates and how many people are filling out your form or calling, and then how many of them are actually turning into sales. And then there's a plethora of email marketing metrics as well, some of which we've had some recent blogs about. You can go to our website and look at some of those. We have a whole new article around measuring what matters, the importance of marketing metrics. So there's this, the wonderful thing about these 5 pillars is that even though the digital landscape is constantly changing, these 5 focuses, right, they encompass all major parts of a business's digital presence. And yes, the execution of certain tactics may change over time, but these core pillars are what will continue to stay the same, at least in the foreseeable future. And even as they evolve, you'll need to continue to be on the leading edge of the practices that make them successful. And we've worked with, Candace said, we've worked with over 20,000 small business owners. This is proven. We know these 5 pillars are really that foundational piece that make your online presence successful. So now that you know the 5 pillars, what I encourage you to do is evaluate your online presence to see if you can check off all the 5 pillars. Great. If you did, then you are ready for what's coming next. If you miss even just one of the pillars that we mentioned today, then you need to get those nailed down quickly, because times are changing fast, and if you want to get ahead and be ready and understand the digital marketplace, then you will want to make that evaluation and see the gaps that you might have. Oh, we can't hear you, Candace.
There we go. Yes, those are all great points, Dorothy. So thanks for sharing. Now we are going to jump into the Q&A section. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the Q&A window now. We'd love to get down to the bottom of those, but we do have a few that we already have prepped for you. So Dorothy, this is a question that we get a lot. Are one-page websites still a thing?
The simple answer is no. They don't work, and they really never did. There was this design trend for many years that to make websites one long page. It was believed that they had a better user experience because people didn't have to click around and they just had to scroll. But there is really no way to properly optimize a one-page website enough to get found in a search result. So it really didn't matter if your visitors have to click because they would never find you anyway. What we do know, unfortunately, that there are a lot of small businesses out there that still have like this one-page website because that's what their marketing agency made for them. Because quite frankly, it was faster and cheaper for them to build. But they hold no real benefit to business owners other than just being an online brochure. So if you have a one-pager website, I would highly recommend that you expand on it. This is going to be one of the ways that you, the optimization of your website that we talked about in pillar number 1.
Now, with budgets being tight right now, what would you recommend to invest in from a paid advertising perspective?
Okay, so that's a great question. And I know a lot of our attendees are going to hate me for saying this, but it depends. Not one approach is going to work for all businesses. Let's face it, that's the beauty of digital marketing. That's why there's such a variety of ways to get leads into our business. That you just need to test a few options to see what's going to work best for your business. I'll make some broad stroke recommendations here, though. So I would say that if you are an e-commerce business, right now, paid social is really a great place to explore. Very hot. So many people right now spending time on social. So e-commerce businesses are thriving there right now. If you're a service-based business, you'll want to invest more in that local SEO so that you have your polished My Google business page, because that's really what's going to help you get ranked in those near me searches. Those are how people are going to be searching for you in your local area. So if you're a plumber or HVAC or even a locksmith or an attorney for that matter, those near me searches are really important, and you need to optimize, through local SEO. And then you can't go wrong with that because, yes, it'll help your business now, but it is also going to give you long-term and future benefits from investing in these areas.
Yep, and thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. As a token of our appreciation, we are going to jump into everybody's favorite part of the webinar, freebies and promos. First, as we had mentioned earlier, we do have a comprehensive ebook on how to respond to reviews like a pro, and you can find that at the link that I just dropped in the public little chat that we got there going on. Second, we are extending.
So just click on. You can click on that now and then save it to look at it later.
Now, we are extending our free digital marketing audit to everybody on the webinar today. The audit will take about 30 minutes and will evaluate your current website and digital marketing efforts to make sure that you are ready for what's next. And lastly, if you decide to become a part of the BizIQ family, we are running a promotion for new and existing clients. We want to infuse your growth because we're here to help. Use this time to get ahead of your competitors. New clients who sign up for our Big Impact or our Complete Solution package can choose from either 50% off your setup fee or 20% off your monthly fee for the lifetime of your subscription. Yes, you heard that correctly, 20% off for the lifetime of your subscription. Current clients who upgrade to a Big Impact or a Complete Solution can also take advantage of this awesome offer. It ends on August 31st, 2020, so make sure to get with your client success manager so that you can take a part of that. And if you are new, I will drop a link in our chat so you can click it and save it for later as well.
Great.
All righty, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. Thank you all for joining us and staying till the very end. We do hope that you found these pillars helpful. We will following up with an email with the recorded version of this webinar. So if you want to go back through, listen to them again at your leisure, you'll be getting that in your email box in just a couple of days. So thanks again, y'all. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.